Hey guys, it's Justin from Learn to Crypto. Feeling a bit better today, so it should sound better. Today we're going to be talking about NFTs, kind of what they can do. Get right into it. NFTs, non-fungible token. Basically, you can't copy it no matter what you do. So this runs into if I have an NFT of Batman and it looks like a picture of Batman, can I not just screenshot it? No, you can't. You can't manipulate that screenshot or verify it if somebody was to call you out on that. Whereas with the actual NFT itself, it's got like a license number, it's on a blockchain, it must have come from somebody with a wallet tag or something like that. There's verifiable ways to trace the validity of it and the authenticity of it. So that's where the NFT space is coming through as a really great way for people to make money buying and selling NFTs, artwork, or a bunch of different stuff. So by definition, just imagine NFT essentially is just something that can't be copied. So the quote unquote something is, I'm just trying to think here. So the best way I say something, because of the fact that it's not like, don't think artwork is the immediate way to go for NFT. It can be a variety of things. The use case is pretty wide based. So art is usually the first one I personally go to. That's how I was exposed to it originally. I checked out Vive. I saw that it was attached to Disney, Marvel, DC. Essentially, Vive partnered up with these businesses, and the businesses are giving Vive credibility. Vive is sort of the software-based app that's going to handle all the transaction, the marketplace, all that kind of stuff, and essentially promote these brands in a very user-friendly way so that Disney or Marvel sort of don't have to worry about this. So that contract was done up, which is really nice. I think Vive's done a great job so far. I do have my criticisms, although I popped on there and then saw, some Marvel artwork to be purchased and some Walt Disney stuff that you can purchase. So it's kind of just drawn there. That's why when I think of NFT, I kind of go to art. So a lot of people are talking about art. NFT's not just art. So I'll talk about today. We want to really touch on NFTs in a little bit more than broader, or a little bit more the general scope. So NFTs use cases past art actually go into games. They go into the Metaverse. They go into comic books, and they go into like copy of work. So like contracts. So the first one besides art. So the second one in games. if you have an NFT of a game or in a game, so you're in a game, you're playing. Back in the day, you're playing, let's say, even Mario Kart, for example, and you want a different kart to drive. So NFTs in Mario Kart now, I don't know if this is a thing, but it can be. This is the potential of it. NFTs can basically make it so you could create your own kart and then use that to race. Let's say you become a very popular racer and you win 1,000 tournaments and you're super popular, and somebody wants, or you want to auction off that kart that you won so many times with. You can do that, and then nobody else can copy that because they will be able to verify all of this, like I said, through the licensing or the blockchain, wallet, transaction history, etc. In games, this is becoming pretty popular because people are going to be able to customize more and more as time moves on. In the next, at least 10 to 20 years, they'll be able to customize the guns that they use in certain video games. For shooter games, they'll be able to customize clothing that they wear, etc., etc. On the gaming side, huge. You don't just play a game where it's like set X, Y, and Z. You can now kind of import your own stuff. So people are working on that. Really, really cool. As a gamer myself, I'm super excited to see where that's going. Right now, it is very early stage. You cannot really take what I just said and exercise that to the fullest extent. There's not a whole whack of games you can jump in where you can start doing that. There's a few, but it's nothing crazy. A lot of these gaming projects are coming out. They're going to be launched seemingly in the next few years. The third one, Metaverse. Hopping into the Metaverse, very obviously, you hop into this world, you're interacting with other people, and you're seeing around you buildings, houses, you can purchase property. An NFT can be a house, for example, that you own. You can put it on your property. It's yours. You can buy and sell it as you choose, and you can choose the price of that house. One really good example, about a month ago, there was a person who purchased a yacht for $650,000 or something like that. That's an example of an NFT being in the metaverse, where that person was the first person to purchase a yacht in the metaverse, and it was for $650,000. So they could kind of use that as a baseline going forward, where it's like, well, this was the first yacht. So like 5-10 years later, as an investment, from an investment standpoint, they could kind of argue, well, if you want to buy this yacht, I paid $650 5 years ago, and now everything's super popular. So of course I'm going to charge you whatever, like $4 million for the yacht. And maybe some person will pay for it. Whether they're an idiot or not, that's kind of up to your own discretion, of course. But it just really does depend. If the market's there, the market's there. Comics side, which is kind of the fourth one I mentioned, is reading comic books. So when you have a comic book back in the day, Spider-Man, Batman, yada yada, it gets old, and you kind of place it away after you read it. Now with NFT, you just open up your wallet, you can read that thing right then and there. All the different editions and copies and colors, that magazine or comic, they're all able to be put up as NFTs, so you can actually see the whole wide array. You don't need to go into a bookstore to see these comics and see all the different ones, and maybe the bookstore doesn't have a certain type of comic. Well, that's not a problem anymore. So on the comic side, really cool. Stretches out to magazines as well, stretches out to anything, short stories or whatever. That will once again be embellished on as time goes on. Vive does have the Marvel and DC comics coming out more and more. I'm noticing that they're releasing them more and more. I believe they just, as of the 31st of December of 2021, they just released this Captain Rogers one, which is pretty cool. So the comics and all that kind of stuff, they're releasing it more and more. You can check that out as time goes on. Really cool. The last one that I mentioned, copy of work. So this one's very interesting. It's very broad. I will not be able to cover this all in this podcast, but copy of work. So you can actually just create like your own contract. It is very similar to the sense of coming up with your own paper contract or your own digital contract, but you're actually able to put this up on the blockchain, and you're able to mint it on the blockchain so that it's always going to be there, and it's sort of like a matter of record. So this is kind of the same concept of, you have a deed on your house, right? Like, how do you own your house? Well, I have a deed. Okay, thanks. I can verify that. So if you have any type of work that you do, project, any kind of stuff like that, you can have an NFT put up on the blockchain. It doesn't need to be a certain blockchain in particular. There's different blockchains that, depending on which one allows to do it or not, but there is multiple options. I'm not privy to a lot of that information. I'm still learning, hence Learn to Crypto. And on the NFT side, the copy of work, you can basically throw contracts up on there. So one really cool side thing about this that I noticed recently was somebody was proposing that you can actually put an NFT house up for sale, and then every time it gets bought and sold, charge 1% fee, because that's part of the contract of owning the house. So for example, I'm going to go buy this house for $1 million in the real world, and in order to buy that house, you need to, instead of like a normal deed or whatever, you need to do this digital contract, right? So in the new digital contract, they can put, I'll sell you this physical house for $1 million, but I'm going to get 1% every time in its entire existence, I get 1%. So you could do that. You could do that in the metaverse if you're selling a house. So if that person buys that house, they got to give a 1% to you, and then when they sell it, they got to get another 1%. The new person who assumes that house, the same thing. They just keep paying you freaking 1%. Somebody was talking about that, and that's very interesting, I find. Back in the day, or even actually in today's day, really, right now, the second, I don't think you could really pull that off on paper. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. It would be very difficult between lawyers and, lawyers retiring and this and that to keep all that tracked. But on the blockchain with NFT, not a problem. So NFT is kind of opening that up. So now that we kind of understand a lot more about NFT, and I will embellish on that down the line more and more. I just want to talk about some fun news to kind of sprucing things up. So very recently, we talked about NFTs not being copied and being secure. And in the last podcast, I talked about how things are kind of quote unquote secure in a certain respect. So this is what I was kind of jabbing at, is that this person had $2.2 million of their Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT stolen. So basically, these are pictures of apes, NFTs of apes digitally that they own, and they were stolen $2.2 million worth. This victim is saying that the incident was the worst night of his life. He can't believe it, et cetera, et cetera. How did this happen? Exactly in what I said in the first podcast, not having secure passwords and getting hacked by other means. It wasn't that these people just like hacked the blockchain or did some kind of NFT non-fungible but then made it fungible, kind of breaking in robbery style, hacking style. That's not how that happened. It was the user's fault, right? It was the owner's fault. Then I also mentioned in my previous podcast that the definition of having no central authority is kind of, it's iffy at best, because then there's nobody really able to assist in situations like this. And this is why also you have to kind of think, well, crypto in a lot of ways does, in some senses, depending on the crypto, depending on what you're dealing with, they do actually have sort of a company or business or central authority to go to. In this case, this guy got $2.2 million worth of Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT stolen, and he didn't use Vive, which is what I've been experimenting with. He was using OpenSea, which is another program to do this. So OpenSea was actually able to freeze the NFTs, so they were not able to be resold, which is great. I don't know what the recovery process is like on this, but I would definitely be pooping my pants if I saw that type of money or worth of store value just taken like that. The company OpenSea has said that they're in process of recovering it, and in addition with that, so they'll hopefully get his stuff back. On the other side of things, these apes being worth so much money, once again, kind of secure or copying, these are all things that are surrounding NFTs questions, right? Oh, okay, nobody can copy this stuff. There's no exact duplicate, which is true. But there has been quite a few, of course, other artists and stuff like that trying to replicate at least and fake or make it seem like there's similar NFTs to these Bored Apes that are worth a lot of money right now. So these Bored Apes very quickly essentially allow you access to wealthy parties where celebrities and stuff like that, if you own it, you know, those celebrities will be there, can be there, and you can meet a bunch of other rich people. That's what they're giving access to. And of course, exclusive drops and yada yada, extra free merch, et cetera, just to keep everybody entertained. So you don't just have a store value, you have extra value there, some value adds. But they found that there's a funky Ape Yacht Club and Bored Ape Yacht Club. It's very hard to tell the difference between the two. So OpenSea actually had to go in and ban Funky Ape Yacht Club and their collections because they were trying to do a gimmick of it. And essentially, this is sort of the educational part of where I always hint, like, you really need to understand Bored Ape Yacht Club. Yes, they're worth a lot of money, et cetera, et cetera. So if you go looking for something and you see that there's something for a bit cheaper but it looks the same, this is the issue. You could have bought that Funky Ape Yacht Club NFT Bored Ape in the collection and then boom, found out it got banned. You lose your money, potentially. So these are the things where can you make money with NFTs? 100%. I myself have so far had my some of my NFTs go up in value, which is good, but you really need to do your research. I myself have the viewpoint that I like being next to Disney and Marvel and such companies like that, very reputable, because I know they're going to end up actually promoting these NFTs. So long term, I would see more of a benefit myself for my own investment, of course. Do your own research, that they're going to go up in value. So far that's been panning out within a few months, which is good. No plans to sell anytime soon. I believe that long term, hopefully that Disney's going to have people walking in or watching movies and stuff like that and sort of be promoting NFTs, and then they'll get more popular. That's kind of like one of my hopes. So I'm more long-term on that. NFTs are super cool. Really, really like them. I'll dive more into them. I'm going to keep this channel more about crypto, but I have to obviously talk about NFT a little bit and give some definition because that's going to come across as we're talking about crypto. But I hope that really helps you, and it's really helped me. It's a basic level understanding. And of course, as always, disclaimer that I'm not a financial advisor. All the opinions are my own based off my own research that I've done. So always consult your own professional financial advisor before investing your money. Super important. Being really educated, having a goal, that is imperative to hopefully attaining financial success for yourself. Everyone's going to have their own journeys. I've had my own. So far, it's been great. Super happy. And I look forward in the future to continuing to do that. I hope that's helped, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Thanks.
Hey community, thanks so much for watching my video. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell to receive a notification when a new video drops. Have a great day and keep on learning.